David CAMPESE at the age of 33. He's in because the exciting youngster JENKINS is injured, and today's appearance leaves the legendary Campo just 7 appearances short of 100 caps. Now, John Eales, a lock, he captains the side in the absence of the injured Phil Kearns. Joe Ross, scorer of 4 tries in ATP's huge win over Wales last Sunday that we mentioned. He switches from wing to partner Tim Horan at centre. And there are international debuts for ATP forwards Marco Caputo and Owen Finnegan, plus New South Wales prop Richard Harry. Now, as for Wales, Wayne Proctor becomes the 5th Welsh fullback in 17 internationals. Normally a winger, Proctor's playing his first match of the tour after breaking his nose in training. The Nice number 8, Steve Williams, he wins a place. Hemi Taylor switches to blindside flanker, and Emil Lewis is out with a neck injury. Well, now the referee for this match is former Wallaby Simon Poitevin, the injured international Jason Little, and Gordon Bray, with touchline comments from Chris Handy. But first, we'll hear the national anthem.
The charismatic Welsh skipper Jonathan Humphreys, and now Advance Australia Fair. In 1908, and there the reserves line-ups. Stephen Larkin there, the number 16, was in the reserve grade Canberra Kookaburras side this time last year. That really has been a dramatic rise for him, and some experience in the Welsh bench as well. Well, joining us is our referee, Glenn Wahlstrom from New Zealand. He has refereed 5 internationals and had that match at the Sydney Football Stadium in 1994 when Australia downed Western Samoa by 73-3. But the atmosphere here at Ballymore, as always, Chris Handy, is very special.
Oh, down on the sideline, Gordon, fantastic. Wales, they're just so welcome here at Ballymore. Everyone's expecting a great clash.
And Jason Little, you'll be looking at some of these backline clashes this evening. What about Joe Ross playing outside centre?
Actually, I'm looking forward to Joe playing it outside centre. I think Australia will look to play a much more expansive game. I think they'll try and keep a few close early on, just a bit of continuity between the backs and forwards.
So all in readiness, and Matthew Burke commences proceedings. Murdoch chasing hard. Well taken there by the big number 8, Steve Williams. Hemi Taylor on the far side. 22-metre line. And that's an early setback for the Welsh.
Well, what a great attacking position for the Australian side. Very keen to get into this,
gets these backline combinations going. They've got so much firepower out there.
Very strong Australian scrum. They've edged Wales back about a metre, and they continue. Howard. Horan back to Howard, and Roth punching through. Great charge from the big man. Morgan. It's only 8 metres out. Wales hold on. Big open line here for the Australians. Roth. Unstoppable. Inside the first minute, Joe Roth gets the Wallabies' first try in this first professional test match.
What a powerful thrust in his first test match. Firstly by Roth up into the line, and then Morgan just galloping into him, just trample the weak, straddle the dead. Here it comes wide to Roth. It opened up wide, and he crosses in his very first game at outside centre.
Well, this is really ominous stuff from the Australian side. Joe Roth, he's so powerful, injects himself twice, gets the try in the second touch. Morgan, they've been at him all week to go low, go hard. Makes a lot of ground there, cleans out the Welsh defence, and it's wide open.
And how do you stop that man? 100 kilograms. Matthew Burke now shading the light from his eyes. He's 16 metres in. He's been the outstanding goal kicker in the Southern Hemisphere this year, leading point scorer in the Super 12 tournament.
Not only was it a great run from Joe Roth, but a great clean out from the Australian forwards. Made a quick ball for George GREGAN to hit Paddy Howard, and then they had about a 5-man overlap.
And critical, Chris, the Welsh did not win that very vital ruck ball.
No, Gordon, and the scrum for Australia looked very ominous early, very strong and focused.
So just outside the Australian 22. Good communication here. That's Richard Harry leading away in this driving maul. They've made 8 metres. That's the referee's voice telling the scarlet jerseys to stay onside. Howard again to Horan. Back into GWYN Jones. Well, it's a high-pressure game from the Australians so far. The Welsh haven't settled into the contest. And there, the first penalty after 3 minutes. The first try came inside the first 60 seconds.
Well, Greg Smith was after an explosive start from the Australian side. He's got it here tonight. They had Friday off. They trained very hard early in the week. And here they are, ready to go on attack again.
Very welcome here at Ballymore, David CAMPESE.
Quick line-outs taken away by Williams. So Australia trying to play the game at pace, but some alert work there by Steve Williams. Now Jenkins, Nigel Davis. This is Matthew Burke. He gets a pleasant bounce. And a driving left footer up towards the halfway line.
Isn't it good to see how the debutants have got into the game early? Roth and also Richard Harry. Different positions. Richard Harry really adding some thrust in there early. Must sustain that. This is the critical area for Wales. Have got to win their own balls. Good combination here. Club combination. Humphries throwing, and you'll see Davies go up. Jones and Jones go up. The big number 5 there all day. Very hard to beat it too.
Gareth Llewellyn. Marco Caputo coming through on Howley. Jonathan Humphries trying to keep the ball in play.
Well, Jason, how do you rate Howard as a fly half? You've seen him in action over the years.
I think with Paddy at 5'8", he'll really try and run the ball. He's not one of the classic kicking 5'8s at all. That last play read very well by Matthew Burke, covering it, and then a great clearing left footer.
So Marco Caputo.
Here the battle continues. The guidelines are being set. Give us the gap down the middle.
Garrick Morgan at the front. Australia secure on their own line-out throw. It was a good one by Caputo. Now they're staying on their feet. Harry! GWYN Jones the tackler. David Wilson to GREGAN. Howard. Horan. Here comes CAMPESE. Wilson again to GREGAN. Now it's Murdoch. His last test back in 1993. So it's all happening at breakneck pace at the moment.
So often have we seen Alistair Murdoch in the Super 12 series beat a man on the outside, but it isn't often you run up against the experience of GWYN Evans marking him. You'll watch him like a hawk.
Key to Australia's performance so far has been their quick release from the breakdown, from their rucks and mauls.
Yes, David Wilson, classic open side flanker. He's been a great link man for Queensland this season. Derwin Jones, that's a mighty leap from the former police officer in the GWYN Constabulary. Neil Jenkins getting the touch just outside the 22.
Seen to date, the Welsh start really well early. They haven't been allowed to settle, though, by the Wallabies.
So Australia may have been just outside the line out there. He formed up, then dropped out, says the referee. That's a free kick just outside the 22. So in trying to force the pace, Australia have lost a couple of their line-out throws. Here's Burke. Good high ball. Rock couldn't pick up. And lost ahead there by the Welsh. Just out from the Australian 22. It's Australia leading Wales by 7 points to 0 after Joe Roth scored in the 55th second.
Look at that matchup.
Attack weights Australia 893 against the Welsh 850.
Where were they when we played, Simon? Huge packs, both teams, particularly Australia with that giant second row, and now an even bulked up front row with Richard Harry.
So Jonathan Humphreys here having some attention. It's Australia leading by 7 to 0. Yes, Jonathan Humphreys, a 27-year-old development officer. He played his first 3 tests, all at Ellis Park in South Africa. So it's 35 metres out from the Australian goal line. Wales wanting to hit back here.
Oh, what a good scrum against the Australians. They seem to put a bit of pressure on this ball.
Howard working again to Roth. Gregan goes in. Now Australia try and clean up. Back to Gregan again. This is Howard. Angling for the touchline. This is Wayne Proctor. He's played a dozen games for Clonethley at fullback. But nothing at test level. And we go right back to where that ball was kicked. Just 11 from halfway. Another quick line out. Harry did well. Supported by Caputo. Gregan and Howard again. Back inside to Finnegan. He was solidly met. 10-metre line. Welsh territory.
Not enough Australians there. Welsh got there in numbers early. They brought Finnegan to ground by pushing him wide. Good counteract. Then they were there in numbers. They're just starting to get a little more composed.
Finnegan would have been terrified that ball would have gone back the Welsh way, but he's got the scrum now. That's good.
Controlled by Manu at the back. Howard again. Getting over the advantage line. Well grasped there by GWYN Jones. That's John Eales punching in close. Australian forwards clean out again. Finnegan back inside to Caputo. Gregan. Campese. Murdoch.
Well, Campese, that flick ball over his head got New South Wales a try against Queensland 2 weeks ago.
Looked like a Michael Jordan hook shot. Beautiful work by the Wallaby back row. Back inside, and look at this, up over the top. And just Alistair Murdoch having to halt his run and knocks on.
Rob Halley from inside his 22 makes sure of his touch. Midway 22 and halfway. So the Welsh are absorbing this early onslaught from the Wallabies. They're trailing by a converted try. Replacement on here. It's Mike Boyle. Mike Boyle, the 26-year-old production worker from Newport, coming on for his first cap. David Wilson at the back to Morgan. Australian forwards consolidates. 37 metres out. Manu goes in. Caputo. And McKenzie.
Get out of the two.
Welsh players trying to kill it. Not staying on their feet.
Stay up.
So a penalty shot coming up here for Matthew Burke.
Crucial time for Wales. They've got GWYN Jones off the field.
So the score here at Ballymore, Australia 7, leading Wales 0. Is this a handy position for Matthew Burke? It's only 10 metres off centre and 38 out. So Chris Handy, the Australians have really been operating in top gear right from the start and almost bordering on rushing things a little.
I think that's right. They really seem to be jumping out of their skin, good, and they've had 48 hours good rest after 3 very hard days training. They're ready to just make contact, and that's a good sign. Wales, though, have settled down and will go on with it.
Matthew Burke is striking the ball sweetly in 1996 as the Wallabies hit double figures here at Ballymore.
Great start for the Australian side. They really needed this, their first run together. 9 changes from their last test. So it's a great start for them in the first 15 minutes.
So Neil Jenkins now. Finnegan there. Australians on their 22. And spoiled there by the Welsh. Australia looked pretty high there. No security. And Wales now with an opportunity to hit back.
Well, Owen Finnegan doesn't muck around in the rucking department. And that occasion, over the top, let's watch it. Finnegan number 6 and Harry number 1. Referee points them out. Over vigorous rucking. This guy doesn't miss many goals either. Neil Jenkins.
Yes, against France, he became Wales's most capped fly half, surpassing the great Cliff Morgan. And he is the Welsh record test point scorer. 430 at the moment. Second only in British rugby to Gavin Hastings. Incredibly, he's just 24 years of age. This to pull it back to just 7. Lovely strike by Neil Jenkins. So Wales maintains contact. Australia 10, Wales 3.
Well, the Welsh side have played with virtually no ball during this game so far. They really need to try and get more of the possession out there to give that very good attacking ability they do have a chance.
And there's Mike Boyle, the replacement. Played in Queensland in 1994, on for his first test match. Ali. Nayan Evans follows. Australia come away through Manu. Back to Wilson. Just out from the 22. Eels picks up. Caputo! His first test try! Marco Caputo! Steamroller straight through the Welsh pack and dots down under the crossbar.
Well, the lead-up work here by the Australian back row, outstanding. Daniel Manu, Wilson, Caputo, like Valence in the Queensland Derby today, dashes away.
Wham, bam, thank you, man. Go you good thing, Marco Caputo. Here's another one on for his first time, and a big meat pie.
And looking like a young Phil Kearns. He was on the reserve bench back in 1994 against Western Samoa and New Zealand. His first test tonight, and what a dream debut as Burke converts. And the Wallabies hit 17. A 14-point advantage.
with Australia playing that quick ruck game, the Welsh defence have started to fan out a little wider, and the Australian forwards have just gone straight through the middle.
There's Nigel Davis from Llanelli, 31-year-old management consultant, and that is not wanted. Man in front of the kicker.
The captain, Jonathan Humphreys, on this side at fault. Still no sign of GWYN Jones. A head cut off in the blood bin.
Here's Manu again. Burke. Campese follows. It's Wayne Proctor. The pair met and were in opposition at Carter Farms Park in '92. Wayne Proctor and David Campese.
And notice George GREGAN is a very aggressive tackler, tremendously strong for a halfback. He'll be around the field tonight making a lot of cover tackles.
Manu at the back, taken away by Boyle. Jenkins, charged down by Howard. No knock on, says the referee. That looked to be Wilson to GREGAN and Howard. This is Horan. Campese. That right knee is heavily strapped. Have they been able to turn Caputo here? They have. That's Williams. Howley. Wales clean out now. They haven't seen much possession. Halfway line, centre field.
It's one of those problems about going to ground too early. Marco Caputo going before he could feel the weight and the support. And as he went down and beautifully rolled over by the Welsh defence. And forwards do this perfectly. Rob Howley right in the middle of things. And that pick and charge game of Jonathan Humphreys, very good.
And what a mighty kick there by Neil Jenkins to put his side on the front foot. Wales desperately needing a 5-pointer here. 17.5 minutes gone.
Well, Derwin Jones, the likely target here for the captain, Jonathan Humphreys, throwing the ball in. Notice his knuckles very heavily strapped. Certainly has a significant problem there. He's ripped the strapping off. He'll take the pain.
The first real attacking opportunity Wales have had deep in Australia's 22.
Over Llewellyn's head. Manu's there. Steve Williams lost it. Howard! He needs support. That's Eels. Pass went astray. Ian Evans on the far side. And a big hit there by Garrick Morgan.
Great opportunity. That time Pat Howard took it in both hands. Australia lost the advantage at the line-out, the ball going over their Welsh head. Slow to react, but came back when this mistake came from Will Williams. And Pat Howard will take every opportunity to carry it up. The turn back pass inside, just intercepted.
Australia gets the line-out ball. Now the Maul drives ahead. It's down to ground. And some sloppy work there by the forwards. Good spoiling by the Welsh pack.
A couple of turnovers unforced. Wouldn't be happy with themselves with that sort of statistic. Let's have a look at these two scrums.
The Australians have kept the ball in hand and registered 2 tries already to Roth and Caputo. Wales trying the same now. Evans. Fine tackle it was by Murdoch from the far wing. GREGAN comes away and Campese. George GREGAN. Caught by Howley. Has Australia arrived in time? They didn't. Stolen by the Welsh. Nigel Davis. Looking for the far touchline. And another excellent clearance by the Welsh three-quarter.
Great defence, firstly by Rob Howley, the halfback. Showed in the ACT game, the Brumbies. He's absolutely beautiful. And there, GWYN Jones. A very awkward strapping running on. And off will come Boyle. The Vaseline all over the top of his head like the greasy pig.
Well, he is a medical student, GWYN Jones. He made his test debut against Italy in January, and he is a quality player, a genuine open-side flyer. Hemi Taylor there, the former Kiwi. So the score here at Ballymore, Australia in the driving seat, leading by 17-3. And ruck and maul statistics so far, Australia doing very well, cleaning out the Welsh by a 2-1 ratio. Australia 13, Wales 6 in ruck and maul. So 2 tries to the Australians, both converted by Burke, who has also landed a penalty. And the line-out forming just outside the Australian 22. Wilson at the back. That one wasn't thrown in straights.
And that's the difficult problem for Australia. The 2 or 3 jumpers are not usually ones that Caputo throws to. It could put you off a little bit, some nervousness in his first match.
The referee's not insisting on that 4-metre gap in the line-out tunnel. So Wales closing down the space. Steve Williams. Once the scrum goes through 90 degrees, the referee will reset it.
Good decision by the referee. Ball must go in as soon as those shoulders come together of both sides. Wales front row struggling a little bit to get stable.
This is Caputo, straight into Williams. Good low body height to GREGAN now. And Howard. And he didn't get a good grip on that ball. A nasty bounce for Proctor. That's Murdoch again. Wales desperately trying to hold on here. And offside rules. So yet another penalty opportunity here for the Australians.
David Wilson has been everywhere today. He stole a couple of balls, and great pressure from Alistair Murdoch. He's chased a couple of kicks and done very well.
That good drive that's coming on from the Australian forwards means that the Welshmen have to return behind the last feet of their own player before they can join. And this is really upsetting their defensive pattern.
Well, Garrick Morgan, so happy to be back at Ballymore in a test position. I'm sure he's got some good stories from being in the league ranks there for a while, Jason, but he's delighted to be back here.
He had a year with the South Queensland Crushers, and he's very happy to be back and playing some of his best football.
So Matthew Burke, who had an 80% strike rate in the Super 12, 157 points in 11 games. And uncharacteristic miss. All his tuition came from Dave Allred, the English kicking guru, who was out in Australia pre-season.
Well, certainly a turnaround for the Welsh from 91. They're really hanging in here at Ballymore.
Gareth Thomas coming through on Manu, a good tackle. A bad pass from Manu. George GREGAN. Off his toe. This is Hemi Taylor into Burke. This is a grand chance for the Welsh here. Nigel Davis and Lee Davis. He's a big, strong runner and has the strength to stand in the tackle. 18 metres out. Halley to Jenkins. Only one man out here. This is Hemi Taylor. GREGAN goes in. So too Morgan. And the Welsh have lost it. Here's CAMPESE. Big left foot kick. It's a beauty. Just short of the halfway line.
Well, Campo had a look then. He looked to run the ball, saw a bit of Welsh defence in close. Opted for the more conservative kick to the line. But certainly thinking about that expanded game.
When you're trying to play that fast open game, it does leave some holes in your defence, particularly if there's an error behind the line out from George GREGAN. Just struggling that time, and just had a big hole right in the guts of the Australian defence.
There's Darwin Jones, and he and Jonathan Humphreys share a flat in Cardiff. They're sponsored by the McDonald's hamburger chain. And knock-ons all over the place. First by Wales.
Look at this scrum go together. They say in rugby folklore the only reason they call it a scrum is because the Sultan battery was already taken. There, the pack's together, and it is hard and tough, and there's pain there.
Here's Howard again. CAMPESE. Howard loops. Welsh defence covered up well. And they may have pilfered. And Australia ruled going forward, but the Welsh are doing a pretty good job of stifling a lot of the Australian fluency at the breakdown.
Well, George Gregan had a very nasty experience with Glenn WAHLSTROM in New Zealand, got penalised over there for what he thought was not a penalty. Almost lost the Brumbies the game. In fact, it did.
Here's Roth, the bounce important. Proctor! Off he goes! Howard across. Still in play. Fine covering tackle by Pat Howard. What can Wales do here? Williams grasped, towed through by Roth. Yayan Evans there first. He holds his pace. Australia have it. The try's on. David Wilson. And what a fitting reward to the Australian number 7, who set up that miracle try at Kings Park, Durban, when Queensland downed the towel in the Super 12.
Oh, what a great game for David Wilson. This open style play of the Wallabies really suits him. Roth got into some space after good work off the back of the Australian scrum, and they stayed on their feet and delivered the ball. Tim Horan and David Wilson, you're not going to catch him. Proctor had given up. Wilson hadn't tried.
Well, Tim Horan in 1992 at Cape Town picked up the same sort of ball for David CAMPESE. Ferreted it out, got it out. And David Wilson this time round picking up the backs roll from the flanker Horan.
His 5th test try after making his debut at the Sydney Football Stadium against Scotland.
No care about where he put that ball down. Wasn't going to try and improve it for the kicker. Beautiful angle, wide out.
We've seen a refreshing approach from this new-look Australian side. It's all about speed of execution. Matthew Burke, a hefty kick. Just wide, his second miss.
Tim Horan showing he's got all the skills. Not only is he a great runner of the ball, but a great mauler as well. And there was David Wilson, Johnny on the spot with a great try in the corner.
And the great John Eales leading by example here tonight. Eales underneath, leaves it for Manu. Just out from the 22. Australia edge ahead. This is CAMPESE. Beautifully picked up by Horan. Murdoch, he lost the ball. Jenkins, Evans, counter from Wales. Horan's there. Well, almost a try coming out of nothing there for Wales.
What a pick up by Timmy Horan. Looks like there's a bit of dew on the ball as well. Alistair Murdoch just spilling that one with the line open.
Heavy dew in this early winter's night on the side, clear sky, and it just slipped out of his hands. He had a little problem with that ball security. Good work by Howley again. And watch this, it goes into his hands and just bobs out. He's built up, he's a very strong. He does have that problem shifting ball from one hand to the other.
Yes, well, the chest measurement is 127 centimetres for Alistair Murdoch. And Rob Howley causing some concern here. But the line-outs just out from the goal line. Can Wales notch their first try?
This is tailor-made for Wales. Jones, number 5 there. I'm sure you'll see him used.
Gareth Llewellyn. Great ball at the front. That's McKenzie trying to spoil and collapse it. That's a penalty offence. Referee plays advantage. Jenkins, Nigel Davis. Horan was there. Howley now, the danger man. And a bad knock on by Llewellyn. He wasn't expecting it. Australia want it. They're running it from their goal line. CAMPESE. And pass behind Murdoch. Lost a head.
The referee said you've lost the advantage. Australia, just like the Welsh minutes before, showing this ball hard to handle. They were moving it at what is a not quite a natural pace for normal Wallaby teams in the same situation. It's good to see them trying.
Steve Williams to Howley. This is Jenkins opening up to Thomas. And wasn't that an aggressive tackle by little George GREGAN?
GREGAN and Finnegan. And Finnegan in there. Very deep play there by the Welsh. Neil Jenkins dropped back a long way. Watch it come. The Australians read it well, and GREGAN and Finnegan both playing together for the Randwick club now. What a combination.
Even though the ball's a little bit slippery, both sides showing a willingness to run it.
Manu was slightly obstructed, couldn't get it back. Here they go, Llewellyn with a nice ball to Howley, and Jenkins almost away from Manu. 8 metres out, Howley again. This is Lee Davis to Nigel Davis. Thomas from the far wing. It's Joe Roth. They're trying to hold him up now and keep it at a maul. That's the goal line away to the left. Wales have an opportunity here. Jenkins intercepted by Finnegan. He's the impact man. And that looks to be Jonathan Humphreys killing the ball.
Well, the Welsh side will have to be disciplined to try and work their way through this outstanding Australian defence. There's no real easy gaps out there. They're just got to try and work it up there, break it down, keep the ball security, and just eventually find a gap. At this stage, there are none.
Ball security, the key there, as you say, Simon. They've just got to go from relentlessly, from phase to phase, and stretch this Wallaby defence before finding the gap.
Loose tap, Wilson's there. Jenkins, a wicket bounce. That's Gwyn Jones. He's opposite number David Wilson.
And 2 props right there with Wilson chasing through the line out.
GREGAN. It's CAPUTO again. He's been prominent in the loose play. Eels couldn't pick up. Referee plays advantage for Wales.
Australians struggling in the line out with their throws. Often you'll see a hooker that is normally throwing to 2 particular jumpers picked. Just getting their combinations worked out.
Such a rarity to see John Eales make a handling error. He really has been one of the players of the Super 12.
So Australia scoring 3 tries so far. Score here at Ballymore, 22-3. So the Australian players in a huddle here. John Eales lays down the law. And concern for John Davis, the very powerful tight head prop. A 19-point advantage for the Wallabies as we close on half-time. 8 minutes before the break. Picked up by Williams to Howley. He's isolated, but he wasn't held in the tackle. Howard may have spoiled there. Manu was there. He wasn't on his feet.
This Robert Howley is a really good little player. Very gutsy, very skillful. Bit of a contrast to George GREGAN. A bit more creative out there, but George, an immense defender and very, very much the fitness player.
So Neil Jenkins, his touch finders have been a feature for Wales in this first half, but the Australians 22 points in 33 minutes in a commanding situation.
You just get the feeling that Australia have lost that intensity with which they started.
Wales have been very competitive in the lineouts. Again, well won by Llewellyn. Lee Davis chips to CAMPESE. Another kick charge down. Eales out there covering up. Accidental offsides.
And isn't this open pattern bringing some strange reactions from the players? Where normally they'd take a certain option because the pattern is more spread eagle, doing different things.
Yes, they're on the 22 here, Wales. Halley standing wide. A good strive here from the scrum. They've marched Australia 3 metres. Steve Williams into Gregan and Finnegan. Finnegan pulled out of the way there. That's Davis. And it's against Daniel Manu. This one out in front. A gift 3-pointer for Neil Jenkins. So Australia leading by 19 points here at Ballymore. So Neil Jenkins to have his second shot at goal. Successful with his first. And this would close the gap to 16 points. Australia with 3 first-half tries to Roth in the opening minutes, Marco Caputo, the debutant, and David Wilson. Burke 2 conversions and a penalty. Neil Jenkins looking for his second penalty to close that gap to 16 points. A very graceful strike of the ball by Neil Jenkins. Australia 22, Wales 6.
Well, Jason, you talked about the quick release, the Australian side giving the backs a lot of room. The Welsh backs needing the same thing, but it's not coming at this stage.
Exactly, Simon. The defence of the Australian team has been very good at this stage. Both teams are now starting to settle down a little bit, a lot more structured in their defence.
Matthew Burke bringing it down midway, 22 and halfway. It's Christian Loader at the back of the maul. Just 22-year-old from Swansea. Howley throws a dummy. Gregan didn't fall for it. And some wasted possession for Wales.
George Gregan fighting very hard tonight. He's got his way to this Australian team under immense competition from Brett Johnston from Queensland and Sam Payne in New South Wales. So he's very keen to hold that spot.
John Eales does well that time. Australia march it 8 metres. Wales players going to ground there. Howard steps off his left. He's beaten 2 tackles. That's the 10-metre line, Welsh territory. Strong run by Murdoch. Good security. Wilson gets it back. Caputo enjoying the open spaces. Campese now. And Horan. He ran into a red wall. Still on the 10-metre line. They've won 3 rucks that have gone nowhere. Now Howard. Torpedo for touch. Diane Evans there with Proctor. And it hit the touch line. The crowd just prompting the touch judge on the far side.
I don't think he had any worries. He can see the footmark right on the side as he kicks. Disturbed the line. Watch it from behind. Great angle. Just that foot slipping over any part of the line is out.
Australia winning a quick line out there. Wilson securing the ball. Regan goes in. Wales handling the ball on the ground. Not allowing release.
Good decision by Pat Howard before. Australia had 3 or 4 attempts at breaking the Welsh line. There was no hold there, so he just put it over and set up for a line out for Australia.
Well, even though the Welsh have given the penalty away here, their defence in close has really improved a lot in the last 10 minutes. Whereas the Australian side in the first 15 minutes was finding plenty of gaps there, they're finding a much more resolute defence now there from the Welsh Dragons.
Australian reserves working their way down to the playing arena with Sam Payne and Steve Larkham behind him, the youngster from the ACT Brumbies. So Australia, with a couple of minutes before the break, hoping to reach 25 here. Well, considering this onslaught by the Wallabies in the first 40 minutes, Welsh have earned respect. They tackled very aggressively, but just haven't seen enough of the ball. This one right on the touchline for Matthew Burke. It's looking good. Australia raises 25. Matthew Burke gets his second penalty goal. And the margin back to 19 points. So Neil Jenkins with the restarts. Goes high again. Morgan's there, so is Eales. Eales got hands to it. Manu did the sweeping. Gregan wants it. Campese was there, so was Howard. Horan. Howley caught him. Secure work there by Tim Horan. Campese now. Pressure came from Llewellyn and also Humphreys. 12 from halfway.
But it really helped the Welsh cause. Try and get a few vital points before half-time, but they're running out of time. Only about 2 minutes left. 1 minute at the most, really.
Jonathan Humphreys. Erwin Jones at the front. Didn't go in 5 metres, which is a free kick offence. The ball must travel 5.
It's a giveaway ball, isn't it? That one, the jumper at the front of the line-out, really has to come inside the 5 to tap it.
Manu puts his shoulder in, supported by McKenzie and Caputo. The hooter has gone for half-time. This is Morgan. He's still going. Jolting tackle there. Spills the ball free. It was Llewellyn. Now Proctor. Roth chases. Proctor very quick. Fine tackle from behind by Murdoch. Ball still in play. And Howley now, the safety of the grandstand, and that should be half-time. But the Wallabies in control with their rapid-fire game. It all started in barnstorming fashion by Joe Roth. 3 very good tries, Simon Poitevin, in that first 40.
Yeah, an explosive start by the Australian Wallabies here at Ballymore, and Joe Roth in particular.
And I think he'll continue that on in the second half.
We've also seen some outstanding defence from the Australians, but let's not take it away from the Welsh either. Let's see what they can do in this second 40 minutes. Caputo. He's certainly worn that Australian jumper proudly in the first half. Campese. A couple of his kicks have been charged down. And that was one of his very best. A 40-metre gain.
Just a couple of observations from where we look at it. It seems to lack the intensity of some of the games we've seen so far this season, with both sides trying out new things and new combinations. I think this is a key to it for both teams. The throwing in of the hookers, keeping your own line-out ball will be critical, as Greg Smith said.
That's Derwin Jones. He made his debut against the South Africans at Cardiff back in 1994. Jenkins. High ball here. A Gary Owen for Burke. Adrian Davis came through. Good tackle by Williams. Caputo slipped it back to Gregan. It's Campese. McKenzie. David Wilson. Outstanding performer. Caputo again. And another of those unforced errors. Ball jolted free as Australia threatened.
This is what the Brumbies have been very used to, as we see what the fly halves have done with the ball and kicked a few more times than you would normally think. Pat Howard for Australia, and certainly Neil Jenkins, I'm sure, would have kicked at least double the number of times that he's passed it. Australian forwards running straight. Brumbies worked out their attack on that straight running in behind the ruck or maul. McKenzie and then Caputo following up some good work.
What a big night for ACT rugby. three homegrown players in this Wallabies outfit: David Campese, Joe Roff and Marco Caputo. Big vote of confidence in the game down there.
Very strong Australian scrum.
You just tell from looking at it. It's a good solid platform. Richard Harry has blended very well with Marco Caputo. There you see the shunt coming on even early. Now, he should be penalised for that. Can't put the push on early, but I think it's indicative of the fact that Wales are giving a little bit of ground. I think they're struggling just across the front three.
Well, John Davis, tight head on this side. Won Wales' strongest man competition in 1993. He has a real opponent tonight in Richard Harry. Players are all on side. It was touched. Campese did very well. Burke is there. It's turned over. General play, says the referee. There was no ruck formed. Gregan and Howard. Here's Roff again. Slipped the pass back to Howard and Wilson. Horan. It went forward. So the pass is being pushed at the moment.
Well, David Wilson, a little error there, but the rest of his game to date has been absolutely outstanding. Not only his ball skills, but also his pace around the field.
Injury to Derwin James, it looks like. Jones, it looks like. And coming across, I think a cut. He'll need to be replaced. Boyle coming on.
Well, Mike Boyle on for about 7 minutes in the first half. He might get a similar stint here in the second. Remember, it's his first time on in an international for his country. So a proud moment for the promising Mike Boyle. Howley hasn't had much opportunity behind this beaten Welsh pack. Very dangerous on the short side. Proctor. Well grasped there by Howard. Referee says he didn't release it quickly enough. And Campese comes up to kick the touch.
Campese not going for as much distance tonight, just making sure he gets his touch.
This is where they must generate the thrust, Australia. The ball into the line out, they've got to get up, pull it down, and take it towards that Welsh line. If it's anything other than perfect ball, it's got to be driven through.
Well, these lineouts are quite a bun fight. We're not getting a proper gap there.
I'm sure Greg Smith will be wanting to get that signal out to the Australian side. Get back the explosive game we played in the first 20 minutes. We need to finish the Welsh Dragons off. We can't let them into this game.
Howard, back to Horan. Manu on the 22. And some offside rules. So the number 8 didn't stay bound on the scrum.
Because Wales working under these new rules for the first time on tour. I mean, you're not used to it. It just takes some time to keep that discipline and staying on.
So as Matthew Burke attempts this goal, it would take Australia to a 28-6 lead. Back shortly. Matthew Burke is 15 metres in from this broadcast touchline. So far, he's managed 2 penalties and 2 conversions. If successful here, Burke would take his points tally to 13 from the game. And again, he's right on target. Australia opens out to a 22-point advantage. Scripps Wallabies 28, Wales 6.
Difficult to suggest how Wales are going to generate more possession that they need to get continuity in their game, and without that continuity, they're just not in the hunt.
Brilliantly read by Steve Williams, who took the deflection. 34 metres out now from the Australian goal line. And they've lost it again. CAMPESE. They've really got a nice purchase on that one. Down inside the 22. Quarter line to quarter line. A heartbreaker for Wales.
To put that down to David Wilson. Steve Williams going through a quite high body height. Wilson was able to get in there and rip the ball from his grasp. Got it back to the Australian back line, and here they are, back on attack.
Well, the Welsh really looking to slow the game down as much as possible now. The Australians adopting the opposite stance. .28 plays 6. Eels with a magnificent deflection. Howard. Off the knee, play on, says the referee. Humphries comes through. This is GREGAN. Murdoch. Hemi Taylor was there for Wales.
It's an interesting one. No ruck, no maul. The referee are judging it dangerous, and I think sometimes in those situations you've got to call that up at people's bodies being bent and twisted in all sorts of directions.
George GREGAN, 27 metres out. Howard again. Working to Murdoch. Steaming onto Williams. Manu goes in to clean out. Coming back for GREGAN and Eels. John Eels almost through. Grass there by Nigel Davis. Welsh players offside. Clever work there by Howley to spoil the Australian pass. Burke. Chip and chase. Matthew Burke. Brilliant! Manu! What a magnificent effort from Matthew Burke. And Australia hammers in another nail.
Well, this is a stroke of genius from Matthew Burke. Beautiful chip kick. Regathers Welsh defence across the cover inside Big Danny Manu. Look at him go, so close to the line, impossible to stop.
But great work by Matt Burke. Just clear vision. He hit the ball at pace. He knew the cover was there in Evans. Chipped and regathered, and the support coming wide out.
Tricky stuff from Matthew Burke. He's on the other side of the field to his good kicking side, so it was a great play.
And Daniel Manu gets his first test try. Well, that certainly snuffs out any remote chance the Welsh may have harboured in this international. Let's see if Burke can bring up his 50 points in Test rugby. He sure can. Another stupendous kick from the touchline. Burke, 3 penalty goals and 3 conversions, takes him to exactly 50 points in international rugby.
I know at times out there, rugby coaches around the world would like to exile the chip kick, but in that instance, it was the perfect solution.
And it was an immaculate execution of finely honed skills as well. Picked up by Finnegan and Campese. A lot of experience at the back for the Australians. And no joy there for Wayne Proctor.
Isn't it different? We've got Australia trying to play an expansive game where you'd normally expect to see Campese running, freewheeling downfield. And what he's been good at is his kicking. He hates really anyone that kicks the ball too much. It's there to be used, but it's been spot on.
Another crooked throw there by Marco Caputo. Storming game in the tight and the loose, but having trouble with his throws. And a huge shot there from the Wallabies. Williams runs into Howard. Howley. Wyn Jones lost it. Just took his eye off the ball, and that really is a frustration for the men in scarlet.
And that a clear indication of how the back row having to stay on affects your ability to defend. They really drove the scrum, the Wallabies, but then when Wales broke away, because the back row was still connected, Wilson's still on there, they were slow to get into cover. Just meets him there, but they're stretched out wide, and Roff and Horan look like they've got a handful.
So there is a bit of dew on the ball, and that has made handling difficult tonight. But this is the very courageous Welsh captain Jonathan Humphreys having attention to his knuckle. It's 35-6. Yes, Humphreys damaged these knuckles against the ACT Brumbies. They were heavily swollen after the game, and a very painful injury indeed. So the score here at Ballymore, the Wallabies leading Wales by 35 points to 6. 3 first-half tries to Roff, Caputo and Wilson. Manu scoring in the 9th minute of the second term. That's the halfway line, and this is Gregan. Scrum opened up nicely for him. Horan. Campese into Finnegan, but the pass was forwards.
Great play by Gregan that time. Really running a lot like Nick Farr-Jones, carrying the ball in 2 hands, kept the whole defence at bay. They weren't sure what he was going to do. Beautifully smuggled to Campese, and quite obviously that one floating forward. Glenn WAHLSTROM perfectly positioned.
This is Howley and Jenkins, just looking for the sanctuary of the touchline, finding it on the 22.
Richard Harry, loose head for the Wallabies, giving John Davis a terrible time at tight head. Just driving in and across, he looks very uncomfortable.
Better throw from Caputo. Wilson got the rebound. Gregan to Caputo again. 22-metre line. Howard, Horan. Clever loop there from Howard. Burke's in. And Murdoch. He has to release here. 5 metres out. Wales may have smothered. Really was a desperate situation. And a good touch. Roff looking for a quick throw to Campese. Back inside to Roff. Off he goes. 10 metres out. Gregan. Howard. Lovely step. Pat Howard. His second test try. And the Wallabies in cruise control.
Well, give him an inch, he'll take a mile, Pat Howard. You don't have to invite him to hit up with the ball. It was good work to bring it up from a defensive situation. He's jinked, broken the tackle of Jenkins, who's a bit suspect inside. You good thing, Pat Howard. Over.
Well, the Welsh punished here for not finding, well, they found touch, for not running up to cover the quick Australian throw. It gave the Australian backline a lot of room. The quick release comes out to Pat Howard. Plenty of options out wide. He has that really terrific step and just leaves them bamboozled.
Matthew Burke with the conversion. Australia 42, Wales 6, and Pat Howard a third-generation Wallaby. His grandfather, the great Cyril Towers, his father Jake Howard, played against Wales at Cardiff in 1973. He's the current assistant coach of the Wallaby team.
Jenkins, one of the 23 members of the team, normally not too bad in that defensive situation, but found wanting.
Williams, he's been a great trier in this Welsh pack. Can Wales do it here? Jenkins. Lee Davis trips, and here's Murdoch and Wilson. Well, great composure there from Wilson. McKenzie was there. General play. Jonathan Humphreys is spoiled for Wales. referee said there was no ruck formed that time.
They need to get that support play, particularly from Garrick Morgan, coming right in behind the ball carrier. Just seems occasionally when they're spreading the ball, the ball carrier gets isolated and there's not enough gold jerseys arriving to consolidate. Wales doing very well pilfering in those situations.
Well, courageous stuff from Jonathan Humphreys down on that loose ball himself, and when Jones have done particularly well of stealing Australian ball in the rucks and mauls.
Australia have really struggled to control the ball off the kickoff. The Welsh forward pack has really got in amongst it and pilfered all the ball.
Real problem for Australia, these line-outs. Humphreys will make them pay.
42-6, 36-point lead for the Wallabies. 16 minutes gone, second term. Gareth Llewellyn went high, taken by Williams. Now the Welsh have their big chance. It's only 12 metres out from the Australian goal line. And again, Steve Williams, who's been an impressive newcomer in this Welsh pack. His first run on international against a major country here tonight.
Richard Harry, loose head here, looking to angle in. On Davies, he must be careful that his backside doesn't get out too far, thus splitting the Australian thing. Better scrum for Wales, well set.
Williams controls. Jenkins. Here comes Proctor. Magnificent tackle by Howard. Steve Williams is there, so is Manu. Wales want the quick release. Australia, though, has spoilt. Coming back for Halley. Lee Davis. Yayan Evans. Well, he really is a marvellous campaigner, Yayan Evans, the Welsh Test record holder, his 62nd international tonight.
Wasn't a bad option by Davies. Yayan Evans has scored a lot of great tries off that sort of kick. This time the Australian defence was just too tight to get past.
Garrick Morgan lost a head. Referee playing advantage. Halley slips it back. So the dew really having its effect on this ball. It is a delightful evening here in Brisbane as Manu is down for attention. Daniel Manu having crossed for his first test try.
Just looks a little distressed. They're looking at his head. The referee there asking whether he's okay.
So Manu is up and okay.
Don't charge.
7 metres out. Here goes Williams. He got a quick heel. Great tackle by Finnegan. Williams still going. It's only a couple of metres out. And it's against Finnegan.
Wonder whether that advantage, and WAHLSTROM obviously judging that the ball wasn't going to come back. It looked like they might have had the opportunity to go on with it, Wales. They've taken the scrum as the option, wanting to set the ball up well.
Michael Braille is on the field for Australia. Manu is off. Braille packing at number 8. Here's a big shot from the Australian 8. Williams controls at the back. Halley! Evans! Braille across. Murdoch was underneath. Almost try number 28 for the Welsh maestro.
Agonisingly close. They did well to screw that scrum, came blind. Evans has done everything he possibly can in defence and attack. Just been shut out.
So Michael Braille on for his 3rd international. He contemplated retirement at the start of the year. GREGAN. Somehow he cleared the ball over his right shoulder, but still 5 metres out.
I think George GREGAN couldn't believe his luck there. Normally you've got opposing players coming through from everywhere. He looked around, no one there. He had a good
good skills by George Gregan, turning it, swiveling on his left foot and finding good touch.
You can see here the Wallabies don't want to concede this try. Here's Humphries. Williams did well again at the back. 4 metres out. Howley to Jenkins. Can it come out quickly here? There's a good line on the left. There's an overlap for Wales.
I want to come out of there. Scrum and red. Hope the leg. No ruck, no more.
Well, this is unrelenting from the Welsh Dragons. Their spirit is there. They're not going to throw the towel in. Jenkins desperately trying to get across that try line, but held up by equally strong Australian defence.
No ball, guys. No ball, no ball. Stay up.
Wales mounting the pressure. Now they have an overlap here. Jenkins, Proctor. Still the Wallabies hold on. And they drive back. And get the scrum feeds. Well, that is just amazing defence.
Well, Michael Bryle across there very quickly secured the loose ball. David Wilson came in, drove him forward. They got the scrum. Great stuff.
How many scrums are they going to have within 5 metres of their line, Australia?
Better scrum from the Welsh here. Australia on the back pedal. But a telling clearance from Burke. Evans looking for a quick line out. But decides against it.
Able to go on with the quick line out, Yohan Evans. He just didn't have the support. Would have run his team into all sorts of problems.
So the Wallaby scrum absorbed the pressure. It's a mighty shove coming from the Welsh 8. Humphries now, this very proud Scarlet skipper. Deflected down there by the Australians.
I think that frustration coming through with the Australians. Morgan slapping the ball down. He's just not happy with the flow of it into his hands.
Now we're getting a better line-out tunnel this time.
Just nodding his head up to Caputo, saying, get it up higher.
Hold, reset.
The Australians just trying to creep across, Finnegan towards the back, to close down the space. Lost ahead there by Williams. Howard from inside his 22. And it's another big slice of territory for the Australians. And they're out of that danger zone now.
Pat Howard still has a very heavily strapped arm from a very freakish accident in the pre-season. Fell down a stairwell and broke his arm.
On New Year's Eve.
Or maybe not so freakish.
Here's Humphries, 10 from halfway. Australia 42, Wales 6. Johan Jones soaring that time. Better drive here from the Welsh. They really have been outmuscled and outthought by the Australians tonight. That's Lee Davis. Aggressive defence from Rock.
Let it go!
35 metres out. Australia have it.
Lock on, Gold.
That's the test of a good outside centre. Able to keep very clear in defence. Roth hasn't missed his man, and it's a strange position, but he's handling it well.
Well, his last game at outside centre was at Mount Isa against the Irish in 1994 for an Australian 15. Burke. Has to be a try to Proctor. First try for the Welsh. Charge down kick on Matthew Burke. And Wayne Proctor gets his 4th Test match try.
Well, Welsh persistence. They've just hung in there. They've had the Australian side under huge pressure for the last 10 minutes. Matthew Burke tries to clear. Proctor, who's got a heap of speed. David CAMPESE not able to compete in this speed stake. And Proctor's in for a very welcome Welsh try.
Well, Proctor in the team. Some would like to have seen Raya out here. He certainly proved his worth getting up and pressuring Matthew Burke. Maybe this is what's needed to sting the Wallabies. into some nice aggressive play.
Every fullback's nightmare. Proctor came from left field to charge the kick down. He was the Welsh Schools 400 metres champion. Neil Jenkins. This to close the gap to 29 points. Coming back. Absolutely superb, Neil Jenkins. 42 plays 13 here at Ballymore.
You like to hit a golf ball with that same swing in it. Beautiful work. You rarely see them go right and then curve back.
Yes, it was a controlled fade. As Burke reaches the 10-metre line. But Eels went high and intercepted the ball. So it didn't actually travel 10 metres.
Australia have just lost a bit of concentration. They've lost a lot of momentum from their first half performance.
Just go back, just go back.
And certainly Wales, lifted by that try, they'll be throwing themselves into attack from this scrum.
Cowley with a nice ball to Proctor. Manu across. Evans! Yoyan Evans! Burke! 22-metre line. Now Wales on the rampage. They play on quickly now. That's John Davis. Wales has found their second wind. Jenkins wants it. Inside is Williams. Back for Howley. Christian Loader supports. George Gregan in for the tackle with Harry. Llewellyn. Nigel Davis. Tim Horan doing his best to steal the ball. Here it comes through Humphreys. Australians have to stay behind the last feet in the ruck. Blindsides. Hemi Taylor. So close. He's over the line. Can they hold him up? It's been awarded to Hemi Taylor. He gets his 5th test try. And what a mighty comeback here by the Welsh.
Referee in perfect position to judge this try. Hemi Taylor didn't look a chance of getting to the line, but he dug in. Lovely sleight of hand here at the back. Good switch. Taylor firstly saw it. Campese in front. Got the drive from behind. And just watch as it comes down. Very clear there. The referee perfect position.
Well, Hemi Taylor, it's a really impressive performance from the Welsh pack. For the 3 mauls leading up to this particular try, they were there outnumbering the Australian side. That was the key to the try. They got that weight behind Hemi Taylor, and that's a real morale-boosting try. It's going to last to the Welsh. The Australian side must get their concentration back into the game.
Yes, the Australians have been scoreless for the last 15 minutes. They led by 42-6. But the scoreboard has changed quite dramatically. If successful here, it will be 42-20. Crowd is happy. So are the touch judges. And the very strong Welsh contingents roaring themselves hoarse. But we knew this side had great pride, and they have really taken it to the Australians over the last 15 minutes.
Well, I think the Welsh have made a crucial change here. Davis has come off, and Lyndon Mustoe has gone on at tight head prop. He loves this one-on-one clash. I think it will give them stability.
Steve Williams, well, he's been a revelation for Wales at number 8 tonight. Wholehearted performer.
Hold back, hold back, hold back.
So we're now 10 minutes from full time. And the Australians needing to get themselves back on the scoreboard as the Welsh gain plenty of momentum. 22 points the difference. Marco Caputo. Finnegan at the back. Another loose tap. GWYN Jones. GREGAN the tackler. Line out has been unconvincing from the Australians tonight. Jenkins. Well, they really have a head of steam now, but a strong tackle from Manu and Morgan. Halfway line, Australia may have it. Hemi Taylor has to stay on side. This is Howard. We've seen a lot of charge down kicks tonight. Burke landing the ball just inside the touchline. Proctor, like a ballerina that time. 33 metres out from the Welsh goal line.
Well, Proctor, he may not have played too much at fullback, but I'll tell you what, he's doing a great job for the Welsh here at Ballymore tonight. He's been magical.
But this is the point of difference from Australia. Marco Caputo has got to get this communication right. It's got to be spot on.
Richard Herring with Caputo. Morgan got high. Now the Australians just need to be composed and control the ball. Howard, pass behind him. Here's Murdoch. Straight through. Alistair Murdoch. Wilson, his second. Just short, not gone.
How sweet it is. Out of nothing came something. Firstly by the burst by Murdoch. It was super. He just exploded through the middle. And Wilson has been on their shoulder in support all night. I think he may well have dropped that ball in the last bit.
Neil Jenkins able to jolt the ball from his arms. 9 minutes before the break. The full-time break.
Forward, Scrum and goal.
David Wilson wouldn't be too happy with that. He doesn't score too many tries, and 2 in 1 game would have been a fitting reward for him.
Good work by the Australian scrum, though, changing that put in around.
Well, the writing on the wall here for the Welsh. Camped on their goal line. There's a big blindside.
Lyndon Musto, number 20 there. Come on as the replacement. Loves that personal, physical struggle. Can he handle Richard Harry, who's settled in during the game, hard to come on fresh.
Picked up by Bryle. 4 metres out. GREGAN. Ball on a platter here. Murdoch. He's got a head of steam again. Straight through. Alistair Murdoch gets his first test try. And the crowd think about leaving now, but Australia closing on the half century.
It's the Welsh pinball machine. Watch this. Alistair Murdoch completely covering the blind, sees the gaps come through. The shoulder charge from Gareth Llewellyn just sends him shattering across the line. What a great try by the man.
It's a very ordinary tackle in this situation by Llewellyn. Needed to have done more there. He was only the only person between Murdoch and the line.
So Alistair Murdoch just showing his block-busting capabilities, 100 kilograms. And now Matthew Burke to lift the score to 49. He does. Australia 49, Wales 20. So that was a timely riposte there by the Australian team. Australia scoring 3 tries in each half. And the forwards have been prominent with 3 of those. And 3 spots to knock on. 29-point margin for the Australians.
I think Ewan McKenzie would have been happy the referee blew that up. Didn't think Ewan had too many more legs in him.
I think you're very unkind, Jason. Been doing a great job out there. Ewan McKenzie locking down that tight side of the Australian scrum.
Didn't he score a try against the USA here from 75 metres out in 1990? Now Williams again. Cowley to Jenkins. Proctor. Stepping but couldn't get away. Wales keep it alive here. Howley again. He spots a gap. Full back to Beats. GREGAN the tackler. Jones is there. and Humphreys. Good line on the right. Jenkins. Now it's Gareth Thomas, who's hardly seen the ball tonight. And Australia hold them up here, which would give them the scrum feed. Has it gone to ground? They burrow in. They're going right. Llewellyn, yes! Big Gareth Llewellyn gets his 5th test try. And the Welsh show their fighting capabilities.
Well, from villain to hero in one easy step. Great work by Llewellyn. Just came inside. Very close to the lines. Good try by Wales.
Well, the Wallabies are finding out very quickly. You do not underestimate Robert Howley. He was a genius behind this try. Made the big break up the field. Gareth Llewellyn to finish it off. The Australian side will be disappointed with that lapse in defence, but Howley, there's something special about the halfback.
Garrick Morgan showing some interesting footwork in defence there on the line.
So Neil Jenkins, who's kicked 2 conversions and 2 penalties, 100% kicking record in the game. He's demonstrated tonight why he's up there with the very best. 4.5 minutes before full time. Well, that hit the uprights and came back into the field of play. So the margin stays at 24 points. Just 3.5 minutes to go now. 25-6 at half-time. Australia has won the second half by just 24 points to 19. Williams couldn't take it. Here comes Murdoch again. Yayan Evans in the last line. 1.5 meters out.
Well, the Welsh will be very disappointed with that kick-off. But now under immense pressure. The Wallabies camped on their line.
Llewellyn come to 2 to Mark Morgan. Jones there on Eels. Maybe Australia be looking to go to the back.
Finnegan and Eels. Australia looking for their 7th try, and they get it. Garrick Morgan crosses for his 2nd test try. He scored against Tonga here in 1993.
Garrick Morgan, you'd think with a name like that he'd be Welsh. Looking like a badminton match for a while as that ball popped delicately backwards and forwards. But then the big man straight off the edge. No doubt about that one.
So it's a 29-point margin as Big Garrick, who had a season in rugby league in 1995, shows his hand in 96.
Well, Garrick Morgan, he's got a lot of bulk to push around out in the field. One very noticeable thing during this game as it's gone on, the Welsh side certainly has superb fitness. The Australian side starting to sort of crank it up a bit late in the game, but I think the Welsh, one part of their game during this test match which has come out on top has been their fitness.
29-point margin. Can Burke make it 31? He does. So the Wallabies out to 56, but 7 short of that record score against the Welsh in 1991 when they emerged victorious by 63-6. Jason Little was a try scorer that day.
That try there coming from a finalist to Murdoch Chase. He seems to have grown an extra leg as this game's gone on.
Murdoch played very strongly in the second half. Great aerial skills from Eels. Wallabies anxious to take play deep into Welsh territory here. Howard. Cut out to Horan. Murdoch. Yayan Evans. Gregan, short side. Plenty of pace. Off a Welsh arm, this is Wilson. Harry's there. He was crutched. Lost ahead. Big tackle by Jonathan Humphreys. Probably saved another Wallaby try.
And a good performance by the tight forwards for Australia. They deserve a good win.
Glenn Wahlstrom blows it up. And too much firepower from the Australian side tonight. At one stage in the second half, they led by 42-6, and then a sterling fight back from this very proud Welsh team. But the final score, an overwhelming margin of 56-25.